Hello friends, I am Aditi. Welcome to my channel Library Mouse. Today I am going to read a book, How to Develop Self-Confidence and Influence People by Public Speaking by Dale Carnegie. This book contains 12 chapters, so let's continue with chapter 3. The way Dr. Cornwell planned his speeches. There are not, as I have already said, any infallible rules that will solve the question of the best arrangement. There are no designs or schemes or charts that will fit all or even a majority of speeches. Yet, here are a few speech plans that will prove usable in some instance. The late Dr. Russell H. Cornwell, the author of the famous Acres of Diamonds, once informed me that he had built many of his innumerable speeches on this outline. First, state your facts. Second, argue from them. Third, appeal for action. Many people have found this plan very helpful and stimulating. First, show something that is wrong. Second, show how to remedy it. Third, ask for cooperation. Or to put it in another way, first, here is a situation that ought to be remedied. Second, we ought to do so and so about the matter. Third, you ought to help for these reasons. This outline is briefly still another speech plan. First, secure interested attention. Second, win confidence. Third, state your facts, educate people regarding the merits of your propositions. Fourth, appeal to the motive that make men act. How famous men have built a talk. Former Senator Albert J. Beveridge wrote a very short and very practical book entitled The Art of Public Speaking. The speaker must be master of his subject, said this noted political campaigner. That means that all the facts must be collected, arranged, studied, digested, not only data on one side, but material on the other side and on every side, all of it, and be sure that they are facts, not mere assumptions or unproved assertions. Take nothing for granted. Therefore, check up and verify every item. This means painstaking research to be sure, but what of it? Are you not proposing to inform, instruct and advise your fellow citizens? Are you not setting yourself up as an authority? Having assembled and marshaled the fact of any problem, think out for yourself the solution those facts compel. Thus, your speech will have originality and personal force. It will be vital and compelling. There will be you in it. Then write out your ideas as clearly and logically as you can. In other words, present the fact on both sides, and then present the conclusion that those facts make clear and definite. I begin, said Woodrow Wilson, when asked to explain his methods, with a list of the topic I want to cover, arranging them in my mind in their natural relations, that is, I fit the bones of the thing together, then I write it out in a shorthand. I have always been accustomed to writing in shorthand, finding it a great saver of time. This done, I copy it on my own typewriter, changing phrases, correcting sentences and adding material as I go along. Theodore Roosevelt prepared his talks in the characteristic Rooseveltian manner. He dug up all the facts, reviewed them, appraised them, determined their findings, arrived at his conclusions, arrived with a feeling of certainty that was unshakable. Then with a pad of notes before him, he started dictating, and he dictated his speech very rapidly so that it would have rush and spontaneity and the spirit of life. Then he went over the typewriter copy, revised it, inserted, deleted, filed it with pencil marks, and then dictated it all over again. I never want anything, said he, without hard labor and the exercise of my best judgment and careful planning and working long in advance. Often he called in critics to listen to him as he dictated or read his speech to them. He refused to debate with them the wisdom of what he had said. His mind was already made up on that point, and made up irrevocably. He wanted to be told not what to say, but how to say it. Again and again, he went over his typewriter, copies, cutting, correcting, improving. That was the speech that the newspapers printed. Of course, He did not memorize it. He spoke extemporaneously, so the talk actually delivered often differed somewhat from the published and polished one. But the task of dictating and revising was excellent preparation. It made him familiar with his material, with the order of his points. It gave him a smoothness and sureness and polish that he could hardly have obtained in any other fashion. Sir Oliver Lodge told me that dictating his talks, dictating them rapidly and with substances, dictating them just as if he were actually talking to an audience, he had discovered to be an excellent means of preparation and practice. Many students of speech have found it illuminating to dictate their talks to the dictaphone and then to listen to themselves. Illuminating, yes, and sometimes disillusioning and chastening also. I fear it is a most wholesome exercise. I recommend it. This practice of actually writing out what you are going to say will force you to think. It will clarify your ideas. It will hook them in your memory. It will reduce your mental wandering to a minimum. It will improve your diction. Benjamin Franklin tells in his autobiography how he improved his diction, how he developed readiness in using words, and how he taught himself method in arranging his thoughts. This story of his life is a literary classic, and unlike most classics, it is easy to read and thoroughly enjoyable. It is almost a model of plain, straightforward English. Every would-be speaker and writer can pursue it with a pleasure and profit. I think you will like the selection I refer to. Here it is. About this time I met with an odd volume of The Spectator. It was the third. I had never before seen any of them. I bought it, read it over and over, and was much delighted with it. I thought the writing excellent and wished, if possible, to imitate it. With this view, I took some of the papers and making shorthands of the sentiment in each sentence laid them by a few days and then, without looking at the book, tried to complete the papers again by expressing each hinted sentiment at length and as fully as it had been expressed before in any suitable words that should come to hand. Then I compared my spectator with the original, discovered some of my faults and corrected them, but I found a stock of words and a readiness in recollecting and using them, which I thought I could have acquired before that time if I had gone making verses. Since the continual occasion for words of the same import but of different length to suit the measure or of different sounds for the rhyme would have laid me under a constant necessity of searching for variety, and also have tended to fix that variety in my mind and make me master of it. Therefore, I took some of the tales and turned them back again. I also sometimes jumbled my collection of hints into confusion, and after some weeks endeavored to reduce them into the best order before I began to form the full sentence and complete the paper. This was to teach me method in the arrangement of thoughts. By comparing my work afterwards with the original, I discovered my faults and amended them. But I sometimes had the pleasure of fancying that, in certain particulars of small import, I had been lucky enough to improve the method of the language, and this encouraged me to think I might possibly in time come to be a tolerable English writer, of which I was extremely ambitious. Play solitaire with your notes. You were advised in this chapter to make notes, having gotten your various ideas and illustrations down on scraps of paper. Play solitaire with them. Toss them into series of related piles. These main piles ought to represent approximately the main points of your talk. Subdivide them into smaller lots. Throw out the calf until there is nothing but number 1 wheat left, and even some of the wheat will probably have to be put aside and not used. No one, if he works right, is ever able to use but a percentage of the material he gathers. One ought never to chase this process of revision until the speech has been made. Even then he is very likely to think of points and improvements and refinements that ought to have been made. A good speaker usually finds when he finishes that there have been 4 versions of speeches: the one of that he prepared, the one that he delivered, the one that the newspaper said that he delivered, and the one that he wishes on his way home that he had delivered. In next video, we will continue this. Thank you so much for listening it, and I hope it is understandable to you. If you enjoy watching my videos, do like, subscribe and share with your family and friends. Thank you.